Top 10 NFL QBs, 10-6, 2016 edition. Honorable mentions are Ryan Tannehill, age 29. Tyrod Taylor, age 27. Marcus Mariota, age 23. Alex Smith, age 33. Cam Newton, age 28. Dak Prescott, age 23. Carson Wentz, age 24. Sam Bradford, age 29. Blake Bortles, age 25. Eli Manning, age 36. Jameis Winston, age 23. Andy Dalton, age 29. Carson Palmer, age 37. Joe Flacco, age 32. Kirk Cousins, age 28. Number 10, Matthew Stafford, age 29. Detroit Lions quarterback. He's on this list. And the reason he's on this list, and you're looking at the guys that are definitely not on this list, you're looking back at, the Cam Newtons of the world, the Kirk Cousins of the world, those kind of players. The reason Cam Newton is not on this list is, first of all, he did have a rough year, but he did, he was pressured a lot. But with that whole whole situation and that whole thing, Matt Stafford is a guy that could talk a little bit about pressure, about getting nailed, but producing. And how about losing a future Hall of Famer in my belief, in Calvin Johnson? So you lose Megatron. That's a big part of your offense. Now I'm thinking, all right, and I'm sure a lot of people were thinking this guy's offense is going to downgrade. We didn't really appreciate his quarterback skill until I feel like this year it really turned out to be a real whoa, even without Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford's a star. He can still perform, and he showed it. And you get to see his stats right now. This previous year, 16 games played, guided them to a 9-7 record. He had 388 completions. He attempted 594 of them. Had a 65.3 completion percentage. 4,327 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. His longest pass was 73 yards. His average yards per game was 270.4. QB rating at 93.3. The QBR was 70.5. How about getting sacked 37 times, though, and still leading 8 fourth-quarter comebacks, 8 game-winning drives? Didn't get to the playoffs, unfortunately. They did get to the playoffs. They versed the Seattle Seahawks. They lost against the Seahawks, but you're looking at what he had that game. He was 18 for 32, 56.3 completion percentage with the 205 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and his average, obviously 205. Got sacked 3 times. His rating was still 75.7. So overall, it was just it was a good Seahawks team. It was a better Seahawks team. The Lions just couldn't face off against that. But that in itself should tell you what he did and how he was able to manage. He was able to lead them to the playoffs without a Calvin Johnson. In my opinion, that's enough for me to be like, all right, you get a bump in this entire thing. You kind of get even though you haven't really won a playoff game your entire career, and Cam has. He's gotten the Super Bowl. I understand. Matthew Stafford needs to get credit where credit's due. He's a great quarterback. He's actually a really good, just a great player in general. And, we can definitely look at what he's done in his career. I'm not going to go ahead and do that because I have done in the past. He's been on this list in the past, in my list in the past, and he deserves that. The only thing I can say is that this year he's had the most game-winning drives and the most comebacks. He's led them in that department, and so it's nice to see that he's able to just come into a groove. It's great. Again, he didn't make the Pro Bowl this year. He didn't win any major awards this year, but he's got my respect. So I believe he deserves to be on this list. So Matthew Stafford, number 10. I think so. He deserves to be on this list. Number 9, Derek Carr, age 26. So before we get into the Oakland Raiders quarterback, I forgot to mention Stafford's contract. Now, Stafford's contract is 1 year, $17.6 million. So we'll see where he ends up. Will he be in Detroit, or will he opt out for free agency? Anyway, for Carr's contract, they actually gave him an extension, 5 years, $125 million. Now, for me, I think he deserves that $125 million for sure. I think they paid him the right amount. I feel like he is a QB for the future. He's a QB for the Raiders. And even when he was at Fresno State, I already knew he was going to be something special. Of course, some people had their doubts. They're like, well, it's the younger brother of David Carr. David Carr didn't really turn out that well. The thing about Derek Carr, what I loved about him is that how just patient he was, and just how much just his determination, his perseverance, to just being that guy, to leading them to victory. And I love Derek Carr's just tenacity, his attitude, his willingness to improve and to get better. That's why I love Derek Carr, to be quite honest with you. So let's just take a look at what he's done in terms of this year. So 15 games he played, led him to a 12-3 record. Unfortunately, with his season-ending injury, that kind of spiraled the Oakland Raiders out of control. But this Raiders team was, wow, this was a really good Raiders team. Anyway, they had 357 completions out of 560 attempts. He had a 63.8 completion percentage, 3,937 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. That's it. His longest pass was 75 yards. His average game was 262.5 yards. Had a 96.7 rating. Had a 62.1 QBR. Got sacked, actually, 16 times. But he led them 7 fourth-quarter comebacks and 7 game-winning drives. Now, led him to the playoffs, couldn't play. Big reason he's definitely down on the list is because he didn't get to play. So, therefore, he didn't get to show us anything in terms of how he is as a quarterback. It doesn't matter. He's still a top 10 player. He's probably going to get higher next year in terms of that. Anyway, as you look at what he did, first of all, he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. The reason I'm going to break down his career is because we've never put him on this list. So let's break it down. 2-time Pro Bowler. He's been able to be on many ballots in terms of for the MVP race, of course. He and Matt Ryan, they were in there. He ranked 17th in game-winning drives. He had 12 active career ones, obviously. But overall, so far, what he's been able to do that has separated him from his older brother is the fact that, he can also run. He had 39 carries, he had 70 rushing yards. So, he's able to really kind of get that under his shoulder, and it's great to see. Like I said, he's that guy. It's a star, It's really nice to see this guy really blossom, and I think the Oakland Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl very soon. So Derek Carr is going to be under the helm for sure. Derek Carr, number 9. Number 8, Phillip Rivers, age 35. It's amazing. This guy really is the most overlooked guy in the National Football League. Now, if you want to take a look, the reason Carr is over Stafford is because Stafford has been here for a while and hasn't really shown playoff success, which is kind of a big deal for QBs. Derek Carr hasn't really gotten the opportunity, but we're giving him a pass, which is why he's higher than Stafford, because hasn't really proven it yet. Stafford had some time to prove it, hasn't proven it yet. Phillip Rivers is higher than both of them because first of all, he's in an organization where nothing good can possibly happen sometimes, where just overall he makes players better, and he's had playoff success. He's actually won games in the playoffs, which is a big deal for judging in terms of QBs. Unfortunately, he hasn't had the opportunity much because of, well, his teams aren't really the best. They're not. It's not that they're bad. It's not that they're all terrible. They can't play. They're young. It's just a young football team, and it's an old man and a young football team. And with his age, doesn't have much time. Doesn't have much time left. But he has signed a 3-year, $62.44 million contract left. So in those 3 years, we could see a possible Los Angeles kind of revival again. They moved to Los Angeles. I'm sorry, San Diego. I'm super sorry. I'm very sad more of the Chargers going to Los Angeles because they've always been San Diego. So that's very sad. But anyway, the point is, Phillip Rivers is in an organization where he doesn't get much help, but he's been able to make the most out of it, and he's never really heard much complaints about him. He's just a really good producer, and he always has a chip in his shoulder, and that's always nice to see. But let's take a look at why he is so low, even though he is so elite. First of all, at number 8, 16 games played, 5-11 record. You're looking at that 5-11. The other year was 4-12. Other year 9-7. Other year 9-7. Other year 7-9. Other year 8-8. Other year 9-7. 09 they had that 13-3 record. So, he's trying. At least he is trying. But anyway, 349 out of 578 attempts, 60.4 completion percentage. Not bad. 4,386 passing yards. Again, he's eclipsed that mark 4 straight years now. 33 passing touchdowns. It's fantastic. But 21 interceptions. Again, that's a very high number. So that's another thing why he's on this list, but at the same time, it's kind of hurting him there. His longest pass is 59 yards. His average per game is 274.1 yards. His rating is an 87.9 and his QBR is 64.5. But how about this? Getting sacked 36 times. 36 times. 1 fourth quarter comeback and 1 game-winning drive. Overall, he has obviously done more fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives than that in his career. So don't get me wrong. Now, the last time, like I said, he's been in the playoffs, 2013. So, not that long ago, but I would love to see Phillip Rivers back there, just because his record right now is standing at 4-5. So I'd like to see him possibly get a chance at getting a ring. Will that happen? Probably not, but you never know. Now, it's time to look at exactly what he's done in his career. I'm not going to look at everything, but exactly what he's done this year so far, just to look at it. First of all, he is a Pro Bowler, so that's a very good thing of what he's been able to do. Other than that, he has really had no awards. He was definitely first in the interceptions, that's not a great stat to be a part of. And yeah, overall, that's all he's really mustered to have was that Pro Bowl. And that bad interceptions record. But Phillip Rivers, no doubt, should be on this list because he's made such an impact on the game for so many years, and he's been very consistently just producing. And I hope he can get back to the playoffs. There's a high hope. This team is definitely talented enough to do it. So we'll see if they can get Phillip Rivers over the hump, but right now he will be number 8. Number 7, Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger is a guy that I love mentioning because he's one of my favorite players of all time, to be quite honest with you. I'm not a Steeler fan. I won't tell you what fan I am, due to I do not want anyone to think that I'm biased at all. Nope, I'm not a Pats fan. Nope, I'm not a Seahawks fan. I'm just shrinking it down for you. I'm not a bandwagon fan at all. I'm a fan of a team that's actually kind of rebuilding right now, technically. Anyway, back to where it actually matters. Ben Roethlisberger, number 7, very worthy of being on this list, and maybe this might be his last time on this list, so it's kind of sad I couldn't put him higher. frankly, because I think the other people that are higher deserve to be just at a higher rating. They're at that point. Anyway, Ben Roethlisberger is a future Hall of Famer, so I feel like there would be no disrespect there, especially with a comment like that, because he is deserving. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's got 3 years left, $65.55 million on his contract, but further news has it that he is getting scared about the whole brain concussions and what it could do. It can kill, possibly, it's killed NFL players before, that symptom. So he doesn't want to go down like that. He wants to have a healthy life with kids, with raising his kids and all that. So I think this might be his last year. And if that's the case, then I really do hope the Pittsburgh Steelers can get back to the big game. I would love to see Big Ben play one last Super Bowl and see what turns out to be the outcome. But first of all, let's take a look at what he did this year. 14 games he played, and he got him to a 10-4 record. Again, was injured 2 games. He went 328 out of 509 pass attempts, 64.4 completion percentage. Had 3,819 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. His longest pass was 72. His average yards was 272.8 passing yards a game. He had a 95.4 rating, a 66.3 QBR, 17 sacks, but had 2 fourth-quarter comebacks and 2 game-winning drives. So the fact that his line is able to keep him in that, and also the fact that he's just a big-bodied dude, it just tells you how much Ben is able to just withstand a lot. And it's great to see a big-bodied guy that can play the QB like him. He's just so elusive for a big dude, and it's pretty incredible. And his athleticism is definitely underestimated, but he's a very athletic man. First of all, led him to the playoffs, of course. They got to the AFC Championship. Who do they lose to? The eventual Super Bowl champions, New England Patriots. But anyway, in his playoff run, he went 2-1, of course, 64 of 96 completions out of 96 attempts, 66.7 completion percentage, 735 passing yards, one of his highest actually total, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks. His longest pass was 62 yards. His average yards per game was 245 passing yards. 82.6 was his rating. He got sacked twice. So, but as you can see though, he was able to really, impact it some way, get to the AFC Championship game. Now he wants to work on finally trying to get to where he needs to go. Again, his legs are not as agile as it once was, so his numbers in rushing went down in terms of 14 rushing yards and 16 carries. But he had a touchdown this year. So, fortunately, he had 8 fumbles. But other than that, he was able to really provide something. He's still able to just be a great pocket passer. So I don't really doubt any of his skills one bit, especially since this year he was a Pro Bowler. Other than that, I don't quite see anything else. He didn't win any major awards, but this is a guy that is a future Hall of Famer, is putting up stats, is keep patching up his career totals. He's already almost going to be at 50,000 passing yards for his career. That's going to be a great achievement. And again, he's won 2 Super Bowls. So I think that puts him in the discussion for Hall of Fame for sure. Anyway, he's number 7, deserving of this list. And we'll get to who's higher than him. Number 6, Andrew Luck, age 27. Indianapolis Colts. What can you say? Number 1 pick in the draft. Number 1 well-deserved to be number 1 pick in the draft. He's been nothing short of amazing. He's producing. He's doing well. Get rid of Peyton, bring in Andrew. Both teams technically won in that situation. Denver got a Super Bowl. Colts got a future star, future possible legend. I think he will turn out to be a legend in Indianapolis and in the NFL. If he keeps going the way he's going, it's Canton. But the thing that's very sad is that his prime years are getting kind of wasted right now because he's on a team that's really has no chance of getting to the Super Bowl as of this point. Just because, A, Their offense is okay. It's good. Andrew Luck definitely makes it pretty well, and T.Y. Hilton's a great kind of, secondary guy. But they need guys to be healthy. That's first and foremost. Is Frank Gore going to be fully healthy? He's getting up there in age. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with your other receivers? Like, what's going to happen? Phillip Dorsett, I hope he gets healthy. I hope he breaks out, And then the defensive side, they're definitely not a killer defense. I think they're definitely going to have to step it up this year. But we'll have to see about that for sure. But Andrew Luck's numbers right now, you're looking at 15 games he played, led him to an 8-7 record, 346 completions out of 545 attempts, 63.5 completion percentage, 4,240 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions. The longest pass was 64. His average passing yards per game was 282.7. He had a rating of a 96.4 and a QBR of 71.2. He also got sacked 41 times, but he led 4 fourth-quarter comebacks in 4 game-winning drives. Again, this line, another problem with it, 41 times your cornerstone, your star QB is getting sacked. You need to improve that line. Like, honestly, they need to do something to make sure that this upcoming year, he gets what he needs. And like I said, they haven't been in the playoffs since 2014, which is sad because this was definitely a team that went from like wild card to moving up in the world to the divisional to getting to the championship and getting blown into pieces, unfortunately, by the Patriots. With the whole Deflategate or whatever. Not sure if that's a thing. But you know what I love about Andrew Luck? He's not just a passer. Look at his rushing numbers. 64 carries, 341 rushing yards for 2 TDs. He had an average game of 22.7 rushing yards. Unfortunately, 6 fumbles. But overall, I mean, really? That's not bad. Like, if you can run and you can throw, you're a pretty valuable dude. You really are. Like, you really are a valuable guy. And that's good to know. And even the whole defensive area, though, I mean, 6 fumbles, okay. 3 fumble recoveries, though. Like, he got 6 fumbles. At least he recovered 3 of them. That just shows that he's persistent. That's a good thing. But yeah, no. I mean, hasn't gotten to the Pro Bowl. Unfortunately, no major awards at all. Is the guy that's been talked about for being an MVP kind of caliber guy, which he definitely is. I just would love to see him, not him per se, but his whole team kind of respect that. They just need to be healthy, and they need to be just more. They need to get something going. They need to have a trade. I don't know, something. But I need to see Andrew Luck in the playoffs again. I know he's a very valuable guy, and I think he can actually produce in the playoffs. It's a fact. It's definitely in my head. I'm like, come on, guys. Come on. This is Andrew Luck here. You guys are wasting your prime years. It's like him and Mike Trout. I'm very frustrated that their organizations are they're wasting their years. It's kind of sad. But we'll see. Anyway, Andrew Luck, number 6. He's still on this list, so.